Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to be with you today, and I'd like to say thank you for Damy for all this well-organized conference. And today I will talk about good manufacturing practice based on the Saudi Food and Drug Authority requirements. Inshallah, I hope I can give you an overview about this requirement. During my presentation, I will talk about, I will give an overview about the GMB requirement. Also, I will discuss the GMB importance. Also, we will describe the requirement of the GMB for the blood establishment and the total inspection of the blood bank inspected by our team in Saudi Food and Drug Authority. Also, we will find or define the deficiency during our inspection and the inspected blood establishment classification and blood bank inspected around KSA and corrected or under assessment findings and most frequent findings and the conclusion. Okay. Based on the system of the SFDA issued by Royal Decree on 1428, SFDA is setting a mandatory standard specification for health biological preparation, examination, and analysis of control over health biological preparation, in addition to licensing the private laboratories and private laboratories related to the field of health. While the fifth article of the system of SFDA system stipulate the transfer all of the tasks related to biological components to be transferred to the SFDA. The primary goal of the GMB is transfusion safe blood unit with high quality. A failure in the quality of blood collection and screened collected from the blood or a failure to follow the procedure in transfusion protocol may result in a fatal consequences. All of the blood establishment staff in KSA are expected to comply with the GMB requirement. Can you refer back to the previous slide? Yes. Based on this figure, a GMB is a part of the quality assurance, and we can see the quality control is a part of the GMB requirement. Also, the GMB including the donor selection, blood collection, process validation, and document control, process control, all of these other processes included in addition to the QC requirement as a part of the GMB requirement. Then what we can define the GMB requirement. حتى هذا شغال ما في شيء يعني أحاول أتابع. طيب. GMB is all elements in established practice that collectively lead to final product with consistently meet predefined specification and compliance with defined standard and regulation. The GMB benefit ensure the quality built into the organization process involved in manufacturer, covers all aspects of the blood establishment, including collection, testing, transportation, processing, storage, labeling, and distribution, capable to consistently manufacturing a product, complying with required quality and specification, ensure all manufacturer processes are clearly defined and systematically reviewed, validated all critical steps and significant change to the process. GMB specify what needs to be done without specifying how it needs to be done. That means we don't have a checklist for GMB. You have to show your compliance with the GMB requirement based on that, because there is a variation between the blood establishment based on their budget, based on their the facility inside their blood establishment. Why GMB is important? A poor quality of product may contain infection. A product that is storage at unsuitable storage condition will not have intended therapeutic effect. GMB enhance confidence among the local blood bank establishment and helps post-export of opportunities. Most of the blood establishment only accepting blood and blood product from the establishment that have been manufactured internationally based on the GMB. Also, the GMB ensuring the traceability between the donor and the recipient and the consistency of the production and process. Each process inside the blood bank play an important part in maintaining GMB throughout the organization, started from the donor selection till the distribution of validated blood unit. Okay, GMB requirement for blood establishment was published in 2018 by Saudi Food and Drug Authority. It contains about 15 clauses. I will go through all of these requirements briefly, and we will discuss each point. Clause number 1 about the general principle, including the general requirement, each blood establishment must develop and maintain a quality system based on the principle of the GMB. A quality must be recognized as a being responsibility of all personnel inside the blood establishment. Also, clause number 1, including the K definition and quality management system requirement, in addition to the management review and quality control requirement and quality risk management and deviation. And there is some requirement for self-inspection to be done inside the blood establishment. In clause number 2, we describing the personnel and organization requirement. There are each blood establishment must ensure each employee inside the blood establishment must be competent and getting appropriate initial and continued training, and all personnel inside the blood establishment must have an appropriate competency assessment during their working inside the blood establishment. Also, personnel clauses including a hygiene. There must be a hygiene instruction organizing the address code inside the blood establishment. Clause number 3 about the premises. The premises must be located and constructed and adapted and maintained to suit to the activities to be carried out, and there must be appropriate lighting, ventilation, temperature. All of these are described in clause number 3, and also there is a specific clauses regarding to the blood donor area, including there must be a confidential area to interview the donor, and there must be a separated confidential area for the donor to be meted inside the blood establishment. Blood collection area must be organized to ensure the safety of both donor and personnel, as well as to avoid any error of collection procedure. There must be a restricted authorization personnel inside the blood testing and processing area, and also inside the premises requirement there is many of sub-clauses about the storage area, ancillary, and waste disposable area. All equipment must be calibrated, qualified, and maintained to suit its intended use, and all critical equipment must have a regular planned maintenance, and material and reagent should be stored under stated of the manufacturer. Data processing system should be checked regularly and validated to ensure their reliability, and the software must be protected against any unauthorized personnel, any unauthorized access. Also, the backup procedure should be prevented of loss or damaged. Facility and equipment need to be qualified. System process. Facility and equipment need to be qualified. System, process, and tested should be validated. The key element of the qualification validation program should be clearly defined and documented in a validation master plan. Qualification activity should be consider all stage of qualification, started from the user required specification throughout the installation qualification, operational qualification, and performance qualification. Based on these figures, the installation qualification should be performed to the new modified and facility and equipment, confirm that the equipment has been installed correctly. An operational qualification to illustrate this equipment is fit to be work, and completion of successfully operational qualification allow the formal release of facilities, system, or equipment. An operational qualification is done by biomedical engineering and the blood bank supervisor. Performance qualification including or demonstrating the equipment or system or process can be consistently produce the quality as it is required. Also, the equipment should be re-evaluated in an appropriate way to illustrate that the equipment is still working as intended by manufacturer. The analytical testing method should be validated and periodically evaluated to ensure that they are still operating appropriately. Process should be shown to cover all intended process based on the site of manufacturer. The process validation must be done for any new process or any subsequent validation or any relocation of the equipment inside the blood establishment. There are many types of validation process, including prospective, which we are looking for at the GMB, but we can accepting the concurrent validation method in some cases, but we are not accepting the retrospective validation process. However, the revalidation is needed to be done for each method, any changed method. The processing of blood component, next slide, must be carried out using an appropriate validated procedure. The use of closed system is strongly recommended, and each unit of the blood unit considered as one batch, and there must be a specification for starting material that is used for packaging of the blood unit. Also, clause number 8 of GMP requirement, including some requirement regarding to the labeling, and there is a criteria to define the initial and final labeling requirement. And there must be a safe and ensure system to prevent any single blood sample and blood component from being released before all of the mandatory requirements set out being fulfilled. Procedure for storage and distribution are validated to ensure a quality of the blood and blood component during the entire storage period and to exclude mix-up of the blood component. Storage condition must be controlled and monitored. Also, GMP requirement require the blood establishment must has a transportation validation method, and they have to validate the container used to transfer the blood from area to another area. If blood establishment need any outsourcing, they have to have a contract that declare the relationship between the contract giver and contract acceptor, and there is some required criteria needed to describe the relation between the contract giver and acceptor. ظنك متأخر. Next slide. Next slide. There should be defined procedure for releasing non-standard blood and blood component inside the hospital. Also, the corrective and preventive system should ensure the existing component non-conformity quality problem are corrected and the recurrence of any problem or mistake is prevented. And under clause 13, there is a compliant and serious adverse event reaction and recall requirement. 14, next. Based on this figure, there are many types of documents inside the blood establishment, including quality management system, procedure, records. All of these documents must consider the general principle of documentation that are required by GMP. Also, the generation and controlling documentation, standard operation procedure, and the retention requirement is mentioned in GMP requirement. The final clause discussing the donor eligibility, collection of blood and blood component, and blood testing, and testing infection markers, blood grouping, serological testing of donor and donation. Also, the Annex 1, next. Next. Also, the GMP, yes, this slide. A GMP guideline including Annex 1 that describing the testing requirement, including all of these mentioned as example, anti-HIV 1 and 2, and hepatitis B, hepatitis C, HTLV, ABO, RH, malaria, syphilis, platelet contamination detection. Also, there is Annex 2 to describing the quality control criteria. Next slide. During last years, our team inside SFDA, we have visited about 125 governmental and private blood establishments. 41 of these blood bank was private hospital. Next. Riyadh, Mecca represent the most area visited by 26 blood bank. Then Eastern region, then Al-Qasim, about 4 blood bank were visited during last years. Next. We classified our blood bank to 3 types based on the number of the deficiency and the type of blood establishment. We have a critical and high risk and low risk of blood establishment. We found 4 of all of these blood establishment classified as a critical blood establishment. And we have our procedure to deal with this type of blood establishment with arrangement with our colleagues from the MOH. Next slide. During this inspection, we totally found about 4,520 deficiency, and we work with our partner inside the blood bank to correct all of these deficiency, and about 81% of these findings were corrected, and most of these deficiency were minor and major findings based on our risk classification. Okay. Wait. Right. Next. Okay. Based on the blood establishment, we found 91% of the deficiency were noted on the private hospital were corrected. Then at central blood establishment, we corrected about 86%, and the branched blood bank about 64%. This classification was taken from the MOH based on their classification. We mean by the central blood establishment, each blood establishment including NAT and serology. The most frequent findings. Next. Was noted with the equipment material, then the general and QMS requirement, and blood collection and testing processing. We can to be benefit from this slide to see how can we doing our training for our staff, because many of findings related to the equipment qualification and general principles of the quality management system. Okay. SFDA guideline is intended to assist the implementation of good manufacturing practice and subsequently improve the quality of blood, ensuring that patient receiving a safe blood. Remember, no every single product can be tested, so the quality of product should be designed and built into the process of the production. Again, GMP specify what needs to be done without specifying how it needs to be done. If you have any question or inquiry, we are very happy to receiving that to our email. blood.inspection@sfda.gov. Thank you. I'm sorry about because of the pointer not working.